Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Motoman Dan, and today we're here to talk about the arrow wall. Let's start with the level upgrades. You have the increased damage, to increase damage more and then even more. For the unique upgrades, we got deals fire damage, and we've got pierce enemies, damaging an additional target. You got to do 3,000 damage in order for you to be able to upgrade the unique upgrades, and it is shoots long-ranged arrows when triggered, deals physical damage. As far as the upgrades are concerned, I switch between both. If it's a map that doesn't have any or very many fire immune enemies, then I usually use the fire damage because it's really powerful. And you might get more utilization. Each arrow does damage, and so each arrow that hits just does that much more when you do fire damage versus physical damage. Yeah, arrow walls are really powerful. One of the best traps in the game for sure, for the cost and just kind of how you use them. You know, they're just really awesome. Let's go ahead and jump into the game files. So let's first look at the arrow wall attributes. The projectile distance is 2100, and that's actually twice the size, or around twice the size of the trigger trigger range. So the trigger range is within within 6 grid squares, and this projectile distance puts it at around 12. Let's go ahead and check that. So we've got 2100 divided by 150 is 14. Yeah, so the projectile range goes 14 grid squares. Again, grid squares, if you don't know, is the size of a footprint of the archer or the decoy. I'm going to say that every single trap, whenever we talk about distances, I'm going to go ahead and tell you what a grid square is. And that's just kind of the unit of measurement that they use in the game. So if you just imagine like 14 archers placed in a row, or 7 tar traps or whatever, it's going to reach out to the farthest one from the spot. The time between waves, so it has 4 waves of arrows. So it shoots out basically 4 times, 9 arrows a shot, projectiles per wave 9, and it has 0.3. So in 1.2 seconds, it's going to be completely depleted. Where it goes on cooldown. Primary damage is 8, so that's per arrow, and the projectile speed is here. That doesn't matter too much, the projectile speed. Let's go into the trap protos. The thing that does matter, a couple of things here. We've got trigger delay, which is a little bit annoying. Runners can trigger your arrow walls if they run, past them. So your arrow wall is like shooting perpendicular to where the runner is running. The first runner will miss, and the other arrows could hit like runners behind him as they're shooting sideways. But it's a really misplaced trap if you use it that way, and we'll take a look at placements. You got 13-second cooldown. The coin value is one of the things that makes it shine. 600 is pretty cheap for traps in overall. It starts unlocked. You start with that and the floor spike. You start the game with those 2 unlocked. So, yeah, there's that. All right, let's look at the status of. Well, yeah, let's look at the upgrades first. So the upgrades, you have increased damage by 1. So here we have increased damage, primary damage, increasing it by 1, and then you have it again, increasing the primary damage by 1 again, takes it up to 10, and then the last one, they actually recently buffed this, because it used to be 1, now it's 2. So it increases each arrow instead of doing 8 to 12. All right, and that's going to give you this big old number right here, 432 damage total that the arrow wall can do. That's without pierce. So that's just standard without any unique upgrades. With fire, it's going to be more because you have the burn, and you have vulnerabilities, and then you have, or weaknesses, I should say. And then if you have the pierce, of course, it's theoretically doubled, but there's a lot of enemies that are resistant to physical, or they would take bonus damage from fire, where fire might be more useful, kind of thing. So anyways, it's insanely good trap. There's a lot of damage. Highly recommend the arrow wall, and there's a lot of good places to put it. So just showing you what kind of damage is potential there. It's pretty crazy. That's just the base, no unique upgrades, just level upgrades. Okay, so for the unique upgrades, we have deals fire damage. You can see here its primary status effects is burned. It gains that, and it also has fire damage. So if we go over here to the status effect Protos, it doesn't have a unique burn. Some things have maybe like unique burn that are listed. This one doesn't, so it is default 4 seconds, movement mod value 0.8, so 20% slow, and the damage tick is 7 seconds. So 7 damage a second, 4 seconds, 20% slow. We tested it. The slow seems to be more like 10%, but yeah, who knows? There should be some stuff behind that. As far as the calculations are concerned, maybe it is, and it just calculations work a little weird. The other one is pierces enemies, damaging an additional target. And this is pierce count is 1. So yeah, just 1 additional enemy that goes through, essentially potentially doubling the damage, but doing physical damage. Now this is the first one we're going to see with an additional upgrade. And Robot said that they were looking at adding these special upgrades here. So these orange squares for the special upgrade, they were actually going to have a special upgrade for each and every trap and weapon and trinket. But they couldn't, I guess they couldn't balance it, or they couldn't figure out what to do for all of them. The arrow wall was going to have the option to be placeable on ceilings. So you could select it and place it both on ceilings and maybe the floor, or I'm sorry, the wall, similar to how the confusion flower can be ceiling or wall. You know, I think if that was the case, if it was placeable on ceilings, then Slackfield would be so much easier because of the range of the arrows, and you could just place them on the ceilings and have all the bats, you know, die to them. That would make Slackfield easier, like 100%, as well as Order Enclave, actually. Both of those would have benefited a lot from having the arrow wall be placed on ceilings. Because those ceilings are a little bit hard to use, and the lasers, they do something, but not a lot, and you know, the bats are a bit of a problem. Just throw that on there, throw pierce. They're going to shoot through the bats, hit the enemies on the ground. It's going to be really cool, but yeah, so that's not a thing. If you play Sandbox mod, of course, you place all of your traps in any surface. Okay, that being said, that's basically everything there is to know about the arrow wall as far as the game files are concerned. Let's go ahead and jump into a game and take a look at some good ideas as to how to use the arrow walls effectively. Alright guys, this is one of my favorite maps to use the arrow wall. I mean, just look at the slaughterage of that, and then watch this. Check this out. I'm gonna move them back. I'm gonna use that again. Just gonna fire at them all again. Null Hunter as well. I mean, it just slaughters enemies, dude. We don't need anything. The tar is fire tar, which means they take bonus damage from fire. So we got these arrow walls shooting way out here. And watch these guys. We're gonna stone staff them for a second. And we're gonna cause them to kind of clump up here. Check this out. See this troll? Watch this. Boom. Dead. All these guys burnt. Dead. All the guys in the back dead. I mean, it's just so good, you know? How are you gonna how do you say no to that? Alright, so we're getting a little bit overrun, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna do this. Boom. Check it out. Get them to clump up to us. And then just like that. They're just trolls already down. We've got the Ring of Storms here. As you can see, it's not the most perfect thing in the world, especially if you're not really taking care of them. I wouldn't recommend having your kill box quite this open, but I mean, it just shooting down straight corridors like that, and look, and like you put it right here, shoot down that corridor, put it right here, shoot down that corridor. Here's a good place. Anywhere that the enemies are going to be crossing, and all of them will be crossing, is a beautiful place to put them. So I'll do that, and then of course here and here and there. That's a good spot, a really good spot for sure. Put one there. All right. I mean, you can't go wrong with it, you know. Like that guy gets popped. That, you know, it's just that good, man. It's just such a strong. What are these guys doing? Come on. What are these guys doing? And then whenever that resets and the enemies behind them trigger it, I mean, look, they're getting hit by the ones in the back because they're far enough away. But you know, but still. Anyways, guys, as always, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, follow Stream YouTube and Twitch. I hope you guys enjoyed the video about the arrow wall. It's such a good trap. I recommend using it. If you're not using it already, use it, put it in your kill box, and I will see you on the flip side. Deuces.